Hi, my name is Adam Funk. I'm an attorney in Houston, Texas, and I specialize in childbirth injury cases. Today, I'm going to talk to you about shoulder dystocia and whether or not you actually have a case. So, shoulder dystocia is when the baby gets stuck during delivery. Typically, either the head or the shoulders get stuck in the mom's pubic bone, and the delivery is unable to progress. Obstetricians have a choice at that point. They can either take the baby by C-section, or if it's too late, meaning if the baby has already gone down the vaginal canal too far, then they have to perform certain maneuvers in order to get the baby out safely. If the obstetrician does not do this, either the C-section or the appropriate maneuvers, then injuries can occur. Injuries such as a brachial plexus injury. Brachial plexus is a series of nerves that come from the spinal cord, off of the spinal cord, and into the shoulder blade and into the upper arm. Those can be damaged, those nerves, either stretched or they can be severed, meaning cut. In addition, a hypoxic event can happen. The baby can stop getting oxygen during this very crucial time. So there's an enormous amount of injuries that can happen, and significant injuries, if the shoulder dystocia is not fixed. So how do we know whether or not shoulder dystocia happened because of injury? How do we know? Hi, my name is Adam Funk. I'm an attorney in Houston, Texas, and I specialize in childbirth injuries across the nation. Today, I'm going to talk to you about shoulder dystocia, what it is, what injuries it can cause, and whether or not you might have a lawsuit. Shoulder dystocia, as you may already know, is when the baby's head or shoulders get stuck in the birthing canal of the mom. Specifically, it's when the shoulders get stuck behind the pubic bone of mom. Shoulder dystocia can be very dangerous. It can cause injuries, such as brachial plexus injuries, such as Erb's palsy. What is brachial plexus? Brachial plexus is a series of nerves that come out from the neck and into the shoulder blade and the upper arm. If the shoulder dystocia happens, where the baby gets stuck, and the OB, the obstetrician, pulls too hard, the nerves can actually get stretched out. They can sometimes even snap. And that can cause a series of issues for the baby in the shoulder and upper arm area. That causes a lifetime of treatment that might be necessary, such as physical therapy and even disfigurement. The other injuries that can occur are a hypoxic event. The baby might stop getting oxygen during this time, which obviously can cause a host of issues such as brain damage and even death. That's why it's very important for an obstetrician to know when there are warning signs that shoulder dystocia might occur, or even if it is occurring, how to fix the problem immediately. There are also signs as to whether or not the obstetrician and the nursing staff were negligent in their actions, meaning you might have a case. So what are those signs? For example, if an obstetrician followed you pre-pregnancy or during pregnancy and pre-delivery and saw that your baby was measuring pretty big, either in length or in size, that could be caused by gestational diabetes. That can just be caused by the fact that you might be bigger or dad might be bigger. The point being is that if baby is big and mom happens to be small, then there's a high likelihood that baby's going to get stuck. And if baby gets stuck, they got to be prepared for that. They got to know that, hey, maybe there might be a situation where we either have to perform a C-section or maybe we just go ahead and do a C-section from the beginning. But it's very important for the obstetrician to know the warning signs. If they don't know the warning signs and they didn't follow them, then that could very well be malpractice and you may have a lawsuit. The second way that a lawsuit might be viable, and a viable option in this case, would be if the doctor just simply pulled and didn't actually perform any maneuvers to safely extract the baby, to get the baby out safely. For example, there are certain ways that a baby can be moved around in order to properly get them out of the vaginal canal. If doctor just simply pulled on the head or used a vacuum or used forceps, then that pulling, that traction could cause a lot of injuries to the nerves. That's a problem, and that could be negligence. The last warning sign I would say that you may have a case is if the doctor actually used the maneuvers, but did it in the wrong way. They either pulled too hard during the maneuver, or they didn't do it exactly the way that it should be actually performed, that could also be a cause for negligence. These are the warning signs that you should be looking for to determine whether or not you have a lawsuit for shoulder dystocia. However, I'm happy to talk to you a lot further and in more detail if you need to talk about your case and your baby. Again, my name is Adam Funk. I specialize in childbirth injury cases, and I'm happy to talk to you about yours.